Good afternoon, Colorful Voices of Sisterhood fans. We are glad to have you back. I am Raquel Painter, co-host, along with Fatia, Diana, and Agnes. We are excited to talk to you about mentoring our youth today. We got a special guest, Mario Harris. He is, yes,
Thank you.
he is a retired Marine, a published author, just recently got ordained.
Yes.
Yes.
God be the
Wow.
glory. Yeah.
Started his own nonprofit,
Yes.
mentoring our youth. Just so much to say about Mario. But before we get into discussion with Mario, let's talk about our hot topic for today. I don't know if you guys had a chance to read this article about a West LA school counselor slept with student at the age of 16. So he's 16 and she is 37. 37. This article saying they're looking for possible more victims. What do you guys' take on this?
So I'm thinking as a counselor, it's where the kids go to get information or guidance for things that's going on in the household that they're looking for someone to actually to be a leader for them. And
they're looking up to you for advice and guidance. Not to get preyed upon. Yes. And I was listening to the detective talking, and he was saying that obviously, when you think of the role being reversed, a 37-year-old man with a 16-year-old girl, that draws a lot of attention.
Right.
But he says it's still the same if it's a 37-year-old female with a 16-year-old boy. It's still the same.
Yes.
She preyed upon him, took advantage of him. I'm sure we'll get a lot more details on that.
I'm pretty sure he wasn't the only one.
That's what I'm thinking too.
I'm thinking there's got to be more. But then you mess their life up because you done got into their mind. So sometimes we don't know what the kids are going to because we haven't took time to find out what they have been introduced to at such an early age.
Yes.
And so we make the kids victims. They bad kids. They this, they that. But we haven't took the time to find out what is going on. Because I'm thinking if my child was in school and going to a counselor, I wouldn't think, or I would hope that the counselor wouldn't be messing with my child. Because I think there would be another charge that would have came right behind that one.
First thing
parent, to the life of...
Yes, or something else. I would think so too, because to me, that's breaking that trust.
Yes.
You're sending your child to the school and thinking that they're in the protective zone or area, but for them to be sexually abused while at school.
First thing that comes to mind is what triggered her to do that. Is there a communication?
Something's got to be wrong with her. Something has got to be wrong, because I'm thinking when I was 37. Going back a few years, but when I was 37, there's no way I am a few. Come on, Fatia.
Just a few years.
Okay. Just a few.
Just a few.
But there's no way at that age are you looking at a 16-year-old in that way.
That's your child.
Yes.
That's
still a baby.
Child. Yes.
But we have to understand historically what has placed in so many areas in our life that we've been abused sexually, physically, emotionally, mentally. So now people get surprised because of a school, right? It's a place that we send our children to get educated. And the people that's supposed to guide our children. But the reality is in the family, sexually abuse their children and mentally and physically, emotionally. So how can we really how can we control the environment where children should be abused or should not be abused? It can be anywhere. So who's accountable for? I know he's not the first victim. That's the fact. Because if you're 36, God knows how many things you have done. But you will not expect place that children will go to get, like you guys say, and that's where they're supposed to be counseled. That's where they're supposed to be guarded in that environment, right? But the reality, we have to face that happen every day.
And I agree that we have to face it. But a lot of times we think that's a safe place for a child when they don't have no one else.
I agree. I totally agree with you.
When they got issues in school, you would think that that's a safe place. That they have been interviewed, that they have been vetted, that, when they go there, that's safe.
That's the reason it's very important when you're hiring people to do the background check, to know who the person is. At the end of the day, those that call themselves leader, those that call themselves educator, they're the one that affecting so many children's lives. Whatever we put in the children is going to affect. Then we see children acting on certain things. Here we are now. We're saying the children are bad. No, somebody educate the children to act that way.
But everything ain't on their report. That's what happened. A lot of times, a report may be run. But if someone ain't never recorded that this is going on, they got a clean slate.
And sometimes we also focus a lot of our teenagers. And that's very important about their mental, their sexuality and all that. But you know what? It goes also with the adults. They should also need to be evaluated as far as, their beings.
Yes, I agree with what Diana say. Like sometimes you don't have report what people have done in the background. Sometimes it does not show. Example, if this woman, she have molested, if nobody know how someone is going to report. But at the same time, for those people know what people do is very important. Say, hey, you should not put this person in here. Is she or he is not capable of leading or teaching or educating the children.
On some jobs, people used to go into the community to find out about them. I know when my daddy became a deacon, they actually interviewed the family.
That should be like that.
And you didn't watch just what they say, you watch how they say it. You watch their emotions. So it may need to go back to finding out community, what was going on. I know when I applied for civil service years ago and I worked on base, they was coming around finding out stuff about me. And I'm like, who's just inquiring about me? I'm just looking for a job.
Doing their checks and balances. Exactly. And I think the school system really needs to do it because they got a vulnerable population.
Yes. The school system, they do background checks, right? They should.
I agree.
But a background check is not necessarily the same as going and talking to references, talking to their previous coworkers, talking to their families. You know what I mean? I don't think that's as thorough as it should be.
I really agree with Diana. I think that's what it should be.
Yes.
That's what it should be. Like not everybody have criminal background check, like it's important. What kind of mother are you to your children? What kind of father are you to your children? What kind of husband? What kind of wife? Especially when it comes to education, I think that is really very important to people too, to be honest with where you're trying to place this person. Now you're giving this person the power.
Right.
And I think it should be more like that.
Especially if it's going to go to that. Now, I do believe that people can change.
I believe.
I believe that when you become strengthened and you have gone through stuff, you can go back and you can help somebody because you actually have physically gone through that. When I reach back to help, I can share with the young girls of the things that I've been through because I've been honest, but I'm strengthened to go through it. But you don't want to put somebody in something that still is going through it.
Yeah. And I think I would take that a step further, Diana, when you're talking about sexual predators. I think there's a difference from you making a mistake and learning from it, vice a behavior that's way out of the norm. I don't know if that's if you can bounce back from something like that.
I agree with you.
Well, if they have been convicted for sex, you can't be around kids. So I agree with that. I agree with that.
Character, when someone have behavior, like something that they like you say, pattern, those people abuse physical and sexual, that you cannot put people around and say, okay, educate them to not do that. It just is not possible because sometimes you cannot break through that, But if you overcome something, the obstacle you can share and mentor children. But those that abusers and
that haven't changed, then you cannot.
People they cannot change. And you cannot bring around the children and they cannot be mentored. Right. Period.
Yeah. So like for me, for example, if the woman is 37, and even if she's found, say, innocent of her charges, there's still that stigma. She still had sexual intercourse with a 16-year-old that was under the legal age to consent. Right. To me, I that person is not trustworthy or would I want that person around any of my children.
I agree.
I think that's a tough one to come back from. But on that note,
Raquel, before you go there, suppose you was at another school and have done it at other schools.
Exactly.
There have been some times when I read in the paper they was actually employed at a different area and had done that.
And I think that's why they're asking now for people to come forward.
And also they've changed their names.
Yes.
Yes. And that's where that fingerprinting needs to come from, though. You know, when they're doing those background checks, because you can't hide that.
Right.
You know, you can change your name, but that print's always going to be the same.
But how thorough?
Yeah, that's what I mean. They really need to be. When you're talking the school system, that needs to be the most thoroughest check a person needs to do.
I agree.
Also, before we go, sometimes the school hide when something incident happen. They are big hospitals. Like I love to watch documentary because it's what it happened in real life. Hospitals, and when they see something that they don't report, they want to keep in the company because you don't want to lose customers.
Because it affects the reputation.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because it's wrong.
Yeah.
It is.
That's why.
Then nobody children send that school. So therefore they keep it to, they might tell the person resign, but they keep a lot of stuff under the rug. Look, then how many people they're affecting.
Right.
You know, they care about their reputation and getting customers, but they are affecting the next generation to come.
Yeah. Because it's hard for a victim to come forward to begin with. But then to come forward and see that no action was taken to correct the situation so that it doesn't repeat itself. I think that's even harder for a victim to have to witness something like that.
Yes. Especially if it was trauma in the home and then I went to school and I got trauma again.
I know it. I know it. There's got to be a safe space for our children. And I think that's where Mario's going to come into play because he has got this fabulous mentoring program that he does for the community here where he brings in mentors to go into the schools. And how many schools do you got now, Mario?
We have 11 schools in Ozark County.
Wow.
And I have one school
That's awesome.
Yes. So that's affecting, a lot of children. So Mario, tell us a little bit about your nonprofit and what you're doing.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Mobile, Alabama, and my parents and our other family members helped raise me. And they helped me to understand that who God was, love your family, love your friends, respect people, how you want to be treated, treat people as you want to be treated.
Oh, yeah.
And then when I left Alabama at 20 and I went into the Marine Corps, and I spent 27 years in the Marine Corps, and I met a lot of great men and women from all walks of life, and they helped me. You know, they helped me and some didn't help me, right? And sometimes I wasn't helped to me.
Yeah.
So 2018, I retired from the Marine Corps, and I was before that I was trying to work on the name with my mentor Ike Johnson, and we were talking.
He's another great community member.
Yes, ma'am. Great gift to our family.
Yes.
And I wanted MEN to be in the name, men, because unfortunately, too many young men and men are not pulling their weight.
Yeah. You know, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Mario, because me and Diana was just talking about that this morning. We got a lot of men that don't have that mentorship that they need to be men.
That's right.
You know, so a lot of them are lacking that. And I was telling Diana, I really blame our generation for that gap that's going on right now, because we have a lot of single mothers trying to raise boys and make them into men. But,
that's right.
You know, that's hard. You need that male figure.
Yes.
That's right. And when I was a child and a teenager, I thought that my father didn't love me because he was in and out, you know. And so there's some things I found out when I became a young man. It's crazy. I didn't find out that my mother and father were never married. 21 years they were together and they were never married. I didn't find it out until I was a man. And didn't find out until about my 30s that my father had PTSD from his childhood, and then he also had trauma and PTSD from being in Vietnam for 13 months. So that answered the question of why wasn't my dad around? Because he had severe mental health issues. So I wanted MENAC, that's the Mentor Every Neighborhood and Community, because every neighborhood and community have helped me. So that's what I dedicated my life to. Actually, when we were leaving Japan in 2015 at our church, I said that when I retire, that I'm going to fully submit to God and to the community. And that's what I've been doing.
And you've done both, Mario. Yes. So I love the mentoring aspect of it. What do you think is the greatest need for the mentees right now in our society?
Yes, ma'am. I believe the greatest need is a solid foundation at home. If parents are together, that extremely works out well, right? If they're being good parents and they're also holding each other accountable.
Yeah.
My wife is great.
She's holding you accountable, ain't she, Mario?
Yes, ma'am. She holds me accountable.
She's a good woman.
Yes, she is.
It always starts at home.
That's right.
That's right.
And I like to tell and jokingly that when our children were young, she had them by the hand, but then I guess I was like behind her holding her apron. So she was basically raising all of us. Because there was many years that I didn't want to be a husband and father, and I asked her to marry me. And we already had our oldest son, Javon. So I knew what I was getting into. But because of my broken home life, so I didn't see my father being there every day, loving my mother and loving us, affectionately, physically.
Yeah.
So that played into that. Yes, I had other family members, but it's greater because 0 to 18 is our most important developmental stage. That is, and as you psychologists,
and for men, it goes up to 25, where they're
that's
not
right.
fully.
25. That's right. The brain.
The brain.
But for a child, it's from 0 to 5. That, and I didn't understand or believe a lot of things my wife said when our children were 0 to 5. Oh, they can't understand us. No, they can understand us, right?
They're little sponges.
That's right. But I thank God because we were graced with a godson. And my wife and I have been in his life since he was 3 months old. So now God is like saying, okay, you didn't believe, I'm going to show you. So I remember seeing him at 3 months old, up until where he's saying he's getting ready to be 6. And how smart he is.
Oh, gosh.
We have been carrying on full conversations with Joel since he was 1.5, 2 years old. So now I thank God I got the chance to see that. And now it plays into mentoring every neighborhood and community. So now I understand because as a man, a husband, and a father, as a citizen, as a veteran, all those things that I've done, now I use those when it comes to going into the schools. So I would like to tap on or expand on the background check. The first thing that you have to be a member of MENAC is you have to have a passion and love for children. That's the first thing, right? The second thing is we need to see the commitment. So if you're going to show up on Wednesday, we need to see you show up. And I say we. I say we because even though I'm the founder and the CEO of MENAC, I do not give a thumbs up for no one. I tried it before. I did bad. So I don't do that. So the team of about 15, 16 mentors, they're the ones that say, she's a good fit. He's a good fit. She's not a good fit. He's not a good fit. Then you get the background check and the application. Now, the background check with the Onslow County School District is a background check and also fingerprint. Right? So someone comes in and they go through all these steps. They go through the background check and they do the fingerprint. Hey, everything's good, right? They got the committee, all checks in the boxes, right? Okay. And also while you're in front of these students, you're always being positive and you're being professional, right? Let's say something happens. Something happens in your personal life or your professional life. And then I learn about it, right? Or you tell me. So what do you do now? Guess what? You go back to the background check. Right? Because these are not my children. But as a parent, I'm going to ensure that these children are taken care of. Because we've had to dismiss some people. In fact, there was, we've had to dismiss some people. I don't want to say nothing because but we've had to dismiss some people because they want to come in and it was about them. Right? And it's not about us. Right? I know we say that a lot, right? In all genres and all categories of business and community. But honestly, it is not about us. We may be the very one that motivates this young man, this young lady to care about themselves, right? Because we can't do anything if we don't care about ourselves first.
That's right.
Right? And then maybe, but it used to be the Partnership for Children, right?
One place.
One place now. And I was looking at this mailbox they had outside, and on the mailbox, it stated that if a child reads for 10 to 15 minutes every day over a 12-month period, they will have learned 1 million words.
Oh, yeah.
And that's part of that Dolly Parton reading program from 0 to 5 that people can sign up for.
And if you guys don't know about that, Dolly Parton gives free books out to children every month from the ages of 0 to 5. So you can easily hop on, just type in Dolly Parton Library and register your child.
Yes. Oh, I got it now. Read, inspire. I just had it just left.
It's the A that's
I know, right? It's messing me up. I'm sorry.
But that's right.
But that's the gist of it, though. Because when our 3 youngest were in elementary school, and my wife doing most of the work as she normally did with our children, right? And she would help them with their homework, and then when she wasn't available, then I would help them, like, from time to time. And we went to, I think it was something with PTA, something with it at school. And I asked the teacher, I said, ma'am, can I ask you a question? I said, my wife is helping our children, but they can't break that A-B ceiling, right? Like they're getting C's and they're getting B's, but they can't break the A-B ceiling. She said, well, do you have them read everything? I said, no, ma'am, but I will from now on. Excuse me.
Reading does make a difference.
Yes.
It really does.
Yes. And fast forwarding, Jamario, he's got multiple college degrees. My wife does. I do. Our daughter, Ariana. Our granddaughter, Janae. She's getting ready to graduate from William Peace and getting her bachelor's degree in business. I got a degree in business. And Ariana is actually in her graduate program at Ball State University.
That's awesome.
And it came from me asking a question. Because when I joined the Marine Corps, I was a high school dropout. During that window, you could join the Marine Corps as a high school dropout. But the school had to sign off and say, okay, you went to school for 12 years, which I went for 13 because I failed the 6th grade. Right? I didn't like English. And it's ironic because in the Marine Corps, I was an administrator. I was an administrator. Yes. And so in our family, faith, family, commitment.
That's good.
That's what it's about. And it hasn't been an easy road. Think about my wife's burden, all of that. All of the mentorship, all of the nurturing, her husband, and then our kids. That's a lot. That's why I say the greatest 2 things that God gave us is himself and women.
That's right.
The greatest 2 things that he gave us. Ma'am?
When she in Richlands, that's all I got to say. She's in Richlands. I knew his wife.
Yes.
Okay. Way back
but
when.
Very strong, even to be able to push you to your dream, to go out to help somebody. How satisfying is it when you see young people make a change?
It's overwhelming. I have Damon Mead. I've been mentoring for about 5 years. And it helps with the process when the parents are involved.
I believe that.
So if I get a phone call, text, email, whatever it is, and I want to meet, the family wants to meet me, and I'll go out to the home and I'll say, okay, this is who I am. And I go through this, I go through that litany. And then if the student says that they don't want to get in the program, I'll turn to the parent and say, well, ma'am, I'm sorry. I can't, he's not going to sign the application. So it has to be the student.
They got to be willing.
And I.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, do you, in your program, since that you're dealing with teenagers and all that, do you also give parents a checklist or, an assignment to help their
yes, ma'am. We offer parenting classes as well.
I just been saying.
My mentor, Ike Johnson, he he has a whole catalog of parenting and all things, community and things like that. So we offer parenting classes as well. And also, the first time I started mentoring with his organization, Magnanimous Mentoring, in the New River area, I think it's called Town Point now. So that's where we started it. I was a mentor in his organization.
That's great.
And we went door to door with flyers saying, this is who we we are, and this is what we offer. In the summertime, Dr. Lee Frazier and Mr. Ike Johnson would do a 2-week tutoring for free. They have snacks for them and do those things at the Jack Amy. And so now we brought that back in MENAC. And now we offer a 3-week math and science camp. We had our first one. We only had one student, but you can, one small step.
Start
right?
one. That's right.
And so when we offer that, we provide lunch and snacks, and we use Generation Genius. They were so gracious to seek us out a few years ago and give us that. And we have 100 seats.
Good.
And we use that in next year. We're planning on having some actual certified teachers, math and English, and come in and do the help with that process.
Yeah.
So whatever we can do to help our young men and women, because they're going to replace us. Some of us like, no, I don't want to go. Well, we all got to do that. But how about we prepare them?
Right.
We prepare them.
Nurture
so now,
them. Yeah.
That's right. And you start doing it now, so I can watch you. And I can say, that was great. This right here, I need you to improve that.
Yeah.
Instead of how, unfortunately, it happens in families. Grandparents or somebody that's big in our family, they die. And now we got to pick up the ball and run with it.
Right.
But I wasn't beside you getting that wisdom.
Yeah.
So, and we have Bashar Janabi. He's a sophomore at UNCG, political science major. He's got to be a lawyer.
Wow. Love it. Love it. Hopefully he comes back to his community and gives back.
Yes. In fact, he's already said it. He said, you all gonna be part of my team. I said, okay,
That's
we're
good.
ready for that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think when you're mentoring the younger generation, especially looking at the teenagers, because they got so much going on in life now. They got social media, they got their phones. They got so many distractions where I don't realize I had when I was a teenager. How do you guys overcome that when you're helping the young mentees?
So what I do is I speak with Ike and I speak with other mentors because almost everyone in our team has dealt with something. So that's why I'll lean into them and say, I'm having this situation. Prime example, yesterday I had to go up to Maysville because I got a call from a mother. And this young man, I've been mentoring him for 3 years. And he's had some jeopardy, some adversity in his life. And I went there and I was talking with him. I thought I was going to get the same reception, and I did get the same reception, which I realized that there's something going on there with mental health, right? And I am not equipped for that. And that's what I'll tell people. I say I'm not equipped when it comes to that type of mental health. Like if it's mild, yes, because Dr. Vinnie Cochran, which is a mentor and an author and some other things, retired Sergeant Major 30 years, right? Him and I, we went through went through UNC a few months ago, and we got certified in youth mental health first aid. So 3 years we're certified in that. And we're going to get some other mentors that want to do it as well. But it's a mild case. Yeah, there's some things, some tools that I may be able to use. But if it's moderate or if it's severe, I'm not equipped to do that.
Yeah.
Have you partnered with anyone to be able for you to call?
Yes. I actually do. Actually, Miss Marlena is a therapist and she mentors at Northside. And, so I go into the sessions and I watch how the mentors are leading the session, and the information that she provides for these young ladies is awesome. It's great information, and she's always poised and she's always professional. So I appreciate having her part of the team. And we have, there's Miss LaTonya Bryant is also a licensed social worker. And she also is someone else that we can call. So we're always looking for other professionals, medical field and things like that. So if there is a student that we can't reach, then maybe that need their type of services. We're connected. Like I've learned from mentors. I've learned to ensure that you have all things that a family would need. Right. And if you don't have them, have a number or having contact information so that they can get there. I get calls about housing, about jobs, all kind of things. So I'm we also partnered up with NC Works.
Yeah.
Also partnered up with other churches, as far as food pantries, and things like that. So we can ensure when people need something that they can get it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Okay. And we don't have the answers to everything. We don't.
Right.
And that's what's so good about the community coming together to support one another in raising the children. Like, was it the African proverb that says it takes a village to raise a child? And I think our community is good in that aspect. But I guess I'm thinking of the future, even 10 years from now, our children that's currently struggling, we got children that got a high ACEs score or protective factor score. Do you guys take those into account when you're mentoring? Do you guys go through and really see where their ACEs score is at?
Yes, ma'am. So we have a emotional intelligence curriculum that we use. That's one of them.
Okay.
And it identifies those different things. And we also use rites of passage. And then we use 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens.
Yes,
Okay.
So those things help us.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Sean Cove is the son, and Stephen is the dad that wrote the one for adults. Yes, ma'am.
How do you get some of the retired teachers
So
that's retired that may give back a few hours? How can you get them involved with your program?
if they still have a passion, because they're probably burnt out.
Yeah.
20,
The reason why they retired.
Yeah, they might be burnt out, but if they still have a passion to be involved, I mean, there are things that they can do. Like we build and write curriculum. So if that's which I'm sure, I mean, they've done that before. So I mean, that might be something if they want to do that, or they can be an instructional coach.
Yeah.
And you can come in and you can just observe us and see where we can improve at. I have no problem with someone looking at the program, MENAC, from A to Z. I have no problem with that, because bringing someone that's not emotionally attached to the organization,
Right.
and looking at the organization, and they're a professional, they're going to make us better.
Yeah.
So I have no problem.
You have
with
to
that.
have that passion
That's right.
to join that.
But we would love to have some retired teachers.
I thought about that.
We would love to, in some capacity.
So if someone wants to volunteer with your organization to become a mentor, how do they do that?
So they can contact us through our website, and that's MENAC.org,
Okay.
MENAC.org, and then go to contact us, and I'll get that email, and we'll respond to that email in about 48 to 72 hours.
Okay.
Under normal conditions.
Yeah.
You put that disclaimer in there. Because,
It's not lately in the normal conditions.
no, you're right.
You know,
Under
what's going
normal
on.
conditions. And Ms. Diane, it definitely is, because we have 4 schools pending right now.
Oh, wow.
So,
Yeah. And that just goes to show the need out there, Mario,
Yes.
for this to happen.
yes, ma'am.
So need a lot of
I
mentors.
look at a lot of different organizations, the Greek organization and stuff. And I'm always wondering, why don't they partner with you guys or with a mentoring program to go out? Because at one point when they was retired, especially in Richlands, we really didn't have a lot. But if they was retired, they could go and volunteer for like an hour and a half a day. So when I see a lot of the Greek organization or a lot of fraternities and sororities, I can't understand if they're retired, why can't they partner up with you or have some of them partner up with you to go to the schools when needed? Because they're in every area.
Yes, ma'am, they are. And actually we do. We have Mr. Grover Lewis III,
Okay.
retired Marine Corps U.S. Colonel, from the Omega Psi Phi. And then we also have Pastor Mickey Smith, and I believe she's Zeta. Zeta, I'm sorry, blue and white. So yes, we do actually have 2. And we understand that a lot of people are busy, especially if they retire. When they're retired, people are going to these retirement ceremonies. I'll just say for me, I go to people that are retired from the Marine Corps, and if they're gonna, so what are you gonna do? Are you gonna stay local? Yeah, we're thinking about it. I'm like, okay, so I'm recruiting, right? But I'm not going to recruit right then, but I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because you need to decompress from whatever profession you were in, or at least 30, 6 months, whatever the time for, whatever you need. And then after that, if you have a passion, then okay, you can contact.
Yeah.
But yes, we do have a lot of community support.
So how, my question is how you separate for those have, it seems like sometimes people do things for compassion. And so how can you know when someone's really compassionate or just they're doing for the show? And because what you stated was people is needed. Mentor is needed because a lot of people going through mentally and there are parents that become parents before they even know who they are. And that's what the children, they suffer in the middle. And they are, I'm not saying only men and women. They are father or mother. They don't have the best example for their children. So, and do you guys, I know you kind of mentioned about the background check. You guys do background check, but do you guys like take time to know the person who he is, like we were speaking earlier? And it's very important to know the man or the woman, what kind of father, what kind of husband, what is his character, because his character, that's what is gonna implement to the children that they mentor. So do you guys take time to know the person who they are beyond than just the compassion and passion they have? Because that's very important.
Yes, it is. So whenever one of the mentors is leading the session, myself and every other mentor is observing them. Right. So we're observing them, their mannerisms and all of the things that they talk about. And then, we go out from time to time and we do lunch or breakfast or whatever it might be. But majority, in fact, I would say everyone that's in MENAC as a team member, I not only know them, I know somebody or several people there that are attached to. So what I do is I go and I'll ask people questions and I'll make phone calls and find out if that person is the right person to be a part of this organization. And we have had, unfortunately, some men and women that came in and wanted to just be in photos and videos and stuff like that. And the team would say, Mario, I don't think such and such is a good fit. Because once again, I said that I didn't do great bringing in somebody that wasn't vetted. So the team gives a thumb up or a thumb down. So that's how we take it.
Because sometimes your instinct is different from their instinct.
That's right.
It's hard to read.
Yeah. And sometimes I'm trying to fill schools, meaning mentors. So sometimes I'm thinking of manpower, but the other mentors, they're not thinking that. They're like, because I tell you right now, Mr. Barry Celestine, right? Retired Master Gun, 30 years, right? If a person say that they're going to be somewhere a day of the week, right, at this school, and they come in the first week, second week, third week, then you don't see them for 2 weeks. The immediate next time he sees them, he's going to say, I thought you was committed. Like he's not going to wait. The next time he sees them, I thought you was committed. Because it's a passion.
Yes.
You have to have passion for these children, right? Yeah. Safety first, and then the passion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's got to be consistency in the children's life too. I mean, you can't be switching out the mentors every week. They got to have a consistency in there to build that bond, rapport, relationship. Yeah.
Also, there are people act very well in front of people. And I went to church and this pastor says there are parents that are lying to their children, like their character, mean, things that they do. They show up to church, they look at me, and carry their children, their wife next to each other like they are leader. But when they get in the house, they are what? Lying that eating their own family. Yes. So there are people like that. So how can you identify? Because like me, I have very passion when it comes to children because from my own experience. And I know what that lead me to who I am today. Of course, I have to overcome all those obstacles, but I will not be okay with to see some people mentoring another children. I'm just being honest, because if you cannot mentor, lead your children, your family, you cannot lead other people.
That's
you
right.
can act best actor, whatever you are. But it is very, very important, because if they call you to their need, because they need it, it need to be taken serious. Who you willing to put this child in risk? This person that's going to mentor, it has a lot of effect for rest of he or she life.
That's right. Well, I was going to ask you, I mean, you've been reading my memoir, but I'm like, well, you couldn't have read it because I haven't wrote it yet. But that's who I used to be. I used to be that guy, right? I used to be that guy that was, as we say, postal Marine, right? Postal Marine. Look good in uniform, right?
Show up on time.
Show up all the time, 15 to 15 minutes prior. You can do all those great things and get home and
Totally change.
Yes, it was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to be that guy. And I thank God that I'm no longer that guy. And it's because I started having a desire to be better. Just like we sitting here.
That's good.
That's what I did. I started watching my wife nurture our children. That's what I started doing. I started watching other women and mothers, right? Men and fathers. And that's when I said, okay, now I'm going to identify how I do. I've watched my wife and I've watched other people, and the desire is there. We can't do anything in life, positive or negative, without a desire. You got to have a desire first.
Oh, yeah.
I agree with you. We get to a point that we have to make some change how we treat our family. Not everybody have moment. We all do. But what kind of effect, you see, is a physical abuse? Or what kind of abuse are we doing? If that become habit, and we've been doing for such a long time, it's hard to break it. Yes, we can look at people around and say, you know what, I'll have to make a change because now my wife, she's been good, or my husband's been good, or my children are watching me. Of course, the children are watching, right? But we have to, at the same time, what kind of abuser I am. And we have to, we have to take that serious consideration, like what kind of abuser I am, or the husband that come home and just get upset and yell, or husband that physically hitting his wife or hitting his children. And those are stuff that we have to take in consideration. Yes, change is required by person. You cannot change for other people. We have to change for ourselves.
That's right.
But at the same time, what kind of this person, what he has done, what is, reputation? Like when you do things over and over again, it become habit. And then it's hard to break that habit.
Yeah. Well,
so are you saying, so I guess, for example, so you guys pull a background check and it comes up that there were, and say it comes back that there were committed of, I don't know,
felony.
Or
felony.
Felony or rapist.
A misdemeanor or felony, then you can't be in the school system.
Okay,
So if that comes back, then we'll sit down and we'll say, hey, this is what came back. And unfortunately, you can't be a part of the team.
Yeah.
You can't be in the school. I'm sorry. You can't be in the schools. But there's other things that person can do. There's human resources stuff that somebody can do.
Yeah.
But you can't be in front. In fact, I was just explaining this to someone a few months ago. And I said, hey, sir, there's other things that you can do. But unfortunately, because of your background, I said, you can't go into the schools and you cannot be around kids like that.
I love that you guys are able to do that.
Yes.
But what about those people also that they've totally changed and repented of what they did? I mean, it's hard. It's hard.
Yes, ma'am. It is. But if you have a misdemeanor or you have a felony, and also the misdemeanors is based off what it is.
It is, yeah.
Right? But the felonies, no, you can't go into the school system. You cannot. Not in MENAC.
And that's through Onslow County.
That's right.
Program.
That's right.
So no second chance
as well.
I believe in second chance. I believe in that. It's just that you just can't go in the school system. But also, MENAC, we do events. We do different things. So you can still be part of the organization. You just can't go in the school system.
Right.
And I was...
rules.
Yes, ma'am. I was posed that question by someone, and she was pretty adamant about it. She's like, well, that's not who they are no more. I said, you're right. because I'm not who I was. But
That's
unfortunately,
good. That's a good one.
yeah, but unfortunately, because you committed something that is egregious based off of these organizations. All it takes is one bad situation.
That's right.
If I feel myself needing to step out of a session or leave a session, of course, other mentors are there. I'll say, hey, I'm going to take off. And I'll leave. Because it doesn't matter who it is. It could be me. It could be anyone else. 11 schools. All it takes is one bad situation. And we're out of all of them.
Yeah.
We're out of all of it.
And then that affects all the children you guys are mentoring.
That's it.
No
It's not
longer
about
having
us.
access.
That's all of those children, because what people see that know about MENAC is they see us in the schools and they see videos or photos or whatever. What they don't see is us going to help families in the evenings, on holidays, on the weekends, driving 2 hours or 4 hours when a student goes out to Gold Hill. Gold Hill is 30 minutes from, about 45 minutes from Charlotte.
Wow. That's
Or we
5
go to
hours.
level 2, we go to level 3 facilities. People don't see that. Or when I go to juvenile court, and I've been going for 6 years, people don't see that. So if
it takes a lot more to be a mentor than just being in the school
and
system.
the most important is trust too.
Yes.
The children that trust you, look out to you, they see now you're right. You make one mistake, you're done.
Yes.
If sometimes we focus on what happened now what the person has accomplished and stuff. So trust is very important.
That's right.
And have that connection. If you don't have trust with people, you cannot move forward.
That's right.
And
I have no problem telling people no.
Right.
Because I told our children no. So I don't have a problem telling people no.
Yeah.
I don't mean, I'm not trying to be harsh, but I'm going to be honest.
Right.
If someone, I find out that someone made a mistake and they need to get another background check, they're getting it. Or they're leaving the organization.
Be firm and be strict.
Yes, ma'am.
I believe even children like the firmness and the strictness and the rules. They got something to go by. A lot of the kids that you probably have issue with has no structure.
That's it.
So when
That's
you give
the
them
number one
structure, that's what's making the improvement.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, love is the first thing. Then structure. And I mean, structure is built inside of human beings. And it's based off of how is that structure going to be employed and delivered to us. So that's very important.
And I think that's why a lot of young adults, when they join the military, a lot of them come from broken homes. They come from, maybe a lack of mentorship. But when they join the military, they find that. They find that sense of community, sense of belonging, that discipline, someone that's going to hold them accountable. So I really think that's why people thrive in the military when they're from a background that's not, as great as another person's background.
That's right. That's right. So read and imagine a nation. Read opens imagination. Now I can dream. Now I can explore. That's what it was.
I love that.
I say read, but it's ride. Read, imagine, dream, explore. And I came up with RID. One of my brothers, he actually came up with the E, the explore piece. Michael Leandra. He actually came up with the E. So that's actually our reading program is read, imagine, dream, and then you can explore.
I love that.
So you have more people in your family that's mentors?
Yes, ma'am. All of my aunts and cousins, they have mentored me for many years. When I graduated from boot camp, Marine Corps boot camp in Paris Island in March 15 of 1991, 9 women drove up from Alabama. 9 women.
That is powerful.
I know.
And
That is.
at the ordination, there were 6 women that came up. My pastor from home also came up, and Pops and one of my brothers. But women are the cornerstone to my development. So my mother-in-law that's here, I call her mom, my wife's mother. Her sisters, Sophie and Dottie, and then our aunts. Aunt Wanda Cave, her and Uncle Cedric live in Augusta. And then on her father that raised her side out of West Memphis, you know, those aunts, Becky, you know, I mean, those aunts, Marilyn, you know, they have all helped me. So that's why I look at for our young ladies, you know, our daughter and granddaughter and goddaughter, is to have those type of women around, because for the family that looks at it in a traditional sense, right? So the husband or the man is going to say, okay, I'm the responsible person, right? Yeah, you're the responsible person, but you're not the one that's ensuring that that house is right.
So
And when I say house,
what's her name that kept that house together?
You talking about Patricia?
Yeah,
you talking about my wife?
you kept saying my wife.
I love
Give her a shout out.
Yes, Patricia Harris. Thank you.
Yes.
And she is from here, Jacksonville, North Carolina, and the family is baker. So she is a baker, and
amazing.
The family has been just, I mean, wonderful, receiving me and helping me. So I love my our family here, and wherever else they are. I just want to say thank you to them. You know, because
before we leave, you want to talk about a little bit about your book?
Yeah. So I mean, somebody thought that I was. You know, I guess I guess I took a couple of alphabets and some words and made paragraphs and chapters. And this is my book, The Goal Achiever's Blueprint, a series unlocking the 7 key traits to success. The first book is Visionary Mindset. Any man or woman that has done anything great in their life, they had to have a thought first, right? And we know that the visionary leaders, I mean, without even going into fathers or men, is women in our families. We know that. So this is some of the things, many of the things that I learned from my childhood and definitely in the Marine Corps. Some people are good, right? Some people great. They can go and do 4 years in the military. Well, guess what? I needed 27. I needed
I'm right with you, Mario. I needed more time.
I needed more time, right? So it is available on Amazon. Price of the book is only $9.99.
Okay.
So,
That's good. That's good.
And my second book that's coming out next month is going to be embracing resilience and persistence.
All right.
And my mentee Bashar Al-Janabi wrote something in that book.
Okay.
So I offer my mentees opportunity. Hey, you want to write? I also offer my children, adult children, if they want to write some lines in one of the books, right? It's 7 of them. So 6 now.
Participation.
So thank you so much for allowing me to share that. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all show. I love y'all show. And I love y'all
having
and the things that y'all do in our community. So I want to say thank you. And also the things you do in your families. Because if it was not for the mothers and the women in our families, you know, we'd be still in caves.
Life be a mess.
We'd be still in caves.
We sure appreciate you with the mentoring. Everything you do. The leadership, when you're out in the community, you see the same. That smile, your handshake, you about your business and going on. I'm pretty sure you did an excellent job too, along with your wife, with your kids. But Seals back October the 9th. Thank you for sharing, liking. So
we'll see you guys
then
Next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Patricia.